Hello and welcome to the Channel 1 Newsroom from our studios at number 5, Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano in Accra. I am Nanatufo Boateng. Coming up. Government pays contractors working on Siame interchange in the Ashanti region $29.5 million so far.
So their schedule is a bit different because they were offside because they were not paid. Now that we have paid them, they've remobilized, and I saw them even working in the night yesterday. And I understand that they are going to try to do more hours than the normal hours to make sure they claw back all the time they lost.
Traditional leaders in Salman in the Elembele district of the Western region oppose revocation of mining leases of Adamus Resources Limited.
And as you pinch by a man's phone process or munioma or more concession, so I also said so munioma. Now, I tell as a minister so I did, my lances. I said the service someone cannot be one TRC. I didn't know what the lances no. A Juma Moy and Nipe will be 1,200 and the Bubia Kohoma.
Also coming up, minority in Ghana's parliament describes the energy minister as incompetent following recent power outages.
The darkness Ghanaians are experiencing is not the product of 23rd April 2026. It is a product of 14 months of policy failure, institutional neglects, and the deliberate abandonment of the energy sector recovery framework.
Still ahead, a Works and Housing Ministry to begin demolition of structures sited on waterways in Accra.
The rains is about to start. We won't allow what they are doing to bring flood into the good people of Accra. So we will come after them for them to move all those structures that they are trying to put in place.
Coming up in Channel 1 Business. Ghana's final IMF review meeting to commence on Wednesday, April 28. And later in sports. Queens of Ghana set to begin qualification campaign for 2028 Olympic Games in the USA. Grateful for your time. Let's bring you details of our stories now. The Minister for Roads and Highways, Governs Kwame Agboja, says the government has cleared $29.5 million owed to contractors working on the Suame Interchange project. Speaking during an inspection of the site, he reaffirmed the administration's commitment to completing the project. Ashanti Regional Correspondent Bright Yabua reports.
Work has resumed on the 4-tier Suame Interchange project after months of inactivity caused by unpaid government debts. The delay had raised concerns among residents and commuters who rely heavily on the route. During the inspection, the minister announced that the arrears owed to the contractors had now been settled.
In the case of the Suame Interchange, we were owing about $29.5 million. That has fully been paid as well.
He said an additional 3 billion Ghana cedis has been allocated to speed up work and improve the quality of the project. He added that working hours would be extended to recover lost time.
I know their schedule is a bit different because they were offside because they were not paid. Now that we have paid them, they've remobilized, and I saw them even working in the night yesterday. And I understand that they are going to try to do more hours than the normal hours to make sure they claw back all the time they lost.
The executive director of Rango also said phase 1 of the project is expected to be completed by the end of October 2026, with full completion scheduled for 2028.
We are committed 100% to it. The first component, where we need to open the 3 overpasses to traffic, will be completed by end of October 2026. The remaining works, which is the 3 levels of interchange of viaducts, equivalent to 1.1 kilometers of viaducts we constructed, and the roundabout, we hope to deliver that to the government and people of Ghana and Asante Mine before the end of 2028.
Some commuters have welcomed the resumption of work, expressing optimism that the project will ease congestion once completed.
Minister, if you go because if you don't have a young penisa, because that's a business. And she say, well, who say, yes, I can't afford no boy, and why you can't make it. It's a celebrity, man. What dream who was at Nama magazine for ye pre and no man or my jago and I'll be so more. Ye didn't pabo tanich say a radinian adum, now say the boss of Mosayano. Emblem.
The minister has assured a timely completion of this project. According to him, all debts owed to this engineer has been paid. For Channel 1 News, I am Bright Yeboah.
Now, host communities of Adamu's resources in the Elembele district, including Salman, Akango, and Anwea, have declared their support for government's decision to revoke the leases of Adamu's resources on the basis of not benefiting from their operations. Led by the Abusuapenyi and assembly members of Salman, the people thanked government for the revocation of the leases and demanded that government transfers the leases to responsible mining companies who will operate in the interest of host communities and the country.
Salman, the closest host community to the Adamus Resources mine in the Elembele district of the Western region, has been at the center of the reaction. Since the announcement of the lease revocation, residents of Salman, Akango, and Anwea, led by Dia Abusuapenyi and assembly members, have been pouring libation in jubilation, insisting they have derived no tangible benefits from the company's operations.
Mene Salama Abusia any or mining na yajitum 100% say aban atusa anamono because yesua bre yawa ho kirem nti yete say aban di say adwumadi eye de pa Salama na je Adamus atum ayemom baby a omoye adwuma resettlement omoye no bibi bia enkoye sisi amno na say so to a say am pressure ma yentumi nyina baby e dey yeginan ye dan enye sisi amno ka say udra influence si a sebe obeka say eyenwambo mo.
While commending the government for the decision, the communities are urging authorities to reassign the lease to a more responsible, community-focused mining company.
Adamus have been operating since 2007. But for me to point to just one project in my letter area, I can't point it out. So we are so happy, and we are calling on the government to handle over the company to those that they can handle it well, that will benefit the Salama community and catchment areas within Elembele and Everajura.
You will some of the China for no be going to just far by force. Alcohol. Adamus for Africa for security for about boom. HSC guys are said SSN about to zoom. Into which that's all one a day. A cool. I'm security for which nipa that's any out to war and the jagun so shell. I didn't know company or better Kumutu was Ablano. It is a habit there. I buy and then say after my license. I said you must swan your man come no be assume.
Despite earlier report of tension at the Adamus plant, the Takoradi regional manager of the Minerals Commission, Francis Anobel, says operations remain uninterrupted.
Everything is ongoing. There's no interruption to the operations of the mine. The mine is operating smoothly. All sections of the mines are currently working. We engage them, we explain the press release to them. So as you can see, the plant is operating 24/7.
Meanwhile, the chief of Salman, Nana Kwamina Bentum II, in contrast with what the community members are saying, has expressed strong opposition to the government's decision to revoke the mining leases of Adamus Resources Limited. Speaking on Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM, in reaction to this development, the chief said he was disappointed by the decision, stressing that the company has played a significant role in supporting local employment and curbing illegal mining activities in the area.
Chief of Salema, I'm chairman of and I tell you, Minister Adamos, Omolans is a flow myself. Now, I tell you, no, me person, I'm a tear, many and John Cra. If you say Adamos, no see you, and a friend, Madame Angela. Our born home or DBR say, or Matt Ghana for Sako Mano. Nina, and it's as I said that on baby is cow. And to them, probably no, boys, you are more quiet than I say, I was so. Now, no, so stop home, they be no pampa momo. Already no, Elembeno, my baby, a yebo kazoni area, mania cooperative mining, a casalema. You know, Maka, a so my baby. And the account almost omunya and your word you and to movie, my baby, you go so a yeka. Tinan say mo omokoi, a ye kruma for no comments for an assassin so. Emma, mines for no coco says so, Munimina, Emma, boys and shoot Tura, or Mojuman possess so Munfidina, you trade jet tuning in Emu. Nayan Kaya Canana, assassin from Confonso Yalovia. And he said, the Almighty two to Amnamana Horana, Mamma say, Madame Angela said, the Amnamana when you good anymore. Into an incrophobic kaboom, no my back, a assassin, now my baby, ye cooperative mine and be. No, ye, no more serious assassin. Then on a son by a young man, say I didn't love your assassin that on or the mancro for Lombe. A son, you my way, and a deep pinching by a man's for process or munioma or more concession, and so I almost says or munioma. Now, I tell as a minister so I did, Mamma Lances. I said, some more cannot get one TRC. I didn't know what the Lances no. A Juma way, any pay won't be 1,200 and the Bubiacohoma. 1 district 153, a young corso, and Crofono, or a month for their boss and Nipa Bedidi. Now, Minister saw some magic. Now, I say, boys, say, and Yaji, or Mamoya Lovia. Now, Sabi Jumani and some phone crown in a dorsum. And it is all catches what you be a Juman Lance from some origin is say. Many are binding Yagan about Cocra, and not come the Bintum, many in Yagani, or men on Yave. Into a monfan Lances Mano. Now, Lovia, now Moyano. Ghana yam play a Lovia, so be a Lovia. Now, Namanago, Amramana, Mamene, it be on Crofo, or any security for more, fight security for no more Pamon Crofo. Last week, Western Regional Minister, on a original commander, Omo Frey, say, on minor says so Muniomenina, and Tebende, Regional Minister, Panodema or Pacho, Emma, my Sebia, Yanquachuomo. Yet, here I say, Ministers of Quagilans, and the Hondia. Obi and Yaji be on 777. If you are the girl machine over pie in Yaji, and the audio no Yagan.
Nana, what shall I buy in crowd time more? In energy, the Minerals Commission CEO in the press conference. No, as some back on kind say, company na kwakofa atomra, and on makwakofa Chinese for Ababegumo Mutu Galamse. Meanwhile, so. A license here the mom, your mom instruction say, Sadiano and Count, and says on Monday Galamse and our whole Eba Crumon and Mombe to Galamse no. And also Kahunti Almetiam Bra, a buying a G, Sakratani if you almost them.
Any part of the assassin, I'm a Chinese for Ghana for ya, and all the assassin, new technology about on basis assassin, over Dunia. If we are saying one, on some man come as someone, and no be him. Nipana Juma Moya, Namana, what idea, and your manka. The obvious assassin, dear, our again and in the and you're not correct. China phobia, my baby. Mamma, more than one wobble, or Baby see our way mining, or born homodine. So the bay enche, Salamasko, assassin a year manganese bo, and to cross an intiminium, into a Hesselvina, Sike Mudu, a basic plant. And to Mamma on your way, the minute on my penny Mahaman, Yagin, crack, Minas Commission Yagin. I say, I didn't to a beer.
Nana Mesamba Hobium, anti Ahimfo more Cromos is here, Yaji, cat free company, semi, then a mobile because say, my Juma employs the youth in that community. What is the next step? Deben a mobile is here.
But you see, Adamos, no more creative assassin. Amma Elembre, I cooperative mining. Our Mama Minister. I say, Muguso Mutrin, you. A bocazo, any area, I will lembre, or more pit cassi, or my set in some form fat. Next one, the African Salaman, so you been a no gusu a yeka. Ah, Omunyan to me, but a mine call massage some courses or mining yoma. Ah, man, so call mines in Mono. Messed up, I said, you catch a mining a was as in a no more near no more secret fire tight ya. Would go to go in your bid to a tuya, a jumefoka, not gun and so on my pain and your next chaffa. I didn't know Sabi. Yeah, him for now, Hano. Say, what is a so he be seen a near GDR, but your and you're not correct. And you're not correct, because I him for you 2 hours, Neka. I am for your man or Mutu Yamoka. Is it? You may or my friend from Sin and you may be good and I'm swing. And I'm see a coin be a swing because a coin of Mofason, Yawaha, Yabekasa, may know him Metiasa and so, Salama. And to mess, let's say, Yen J, I will say, Lances now, or most of my general, Yen abandoning Yen J. Say, Okotisi, so be any idea, and you're not correct. And you be an eye, I love you now, Mopese, yet Genomo Mojumentra, Nasasanya Luvia land. I am mining a yabwa Ghana, let you may foka.
Nana, and so tier press conference now. I buy say, a Jumaya for more hodie. Obia, if you are a lawful worker, you will still have your job. And Cecia Menoka say, in Kofo Honoma, Omoye Juma, all right. And so, when it comes to issues of job losses, the government says they are going to protect jobs for the lawful people who've been employed in that in the company.
Metiasis or more Jumana, Lances personal. So what would say? Nay, I saw Jumaya Joe Lances here. I don't know, Miss Yania Bina, many are banning Yagan. Every time I'm on your fee. I asked our Senna and Crawford, Luvian, or stop woman. Or stop, says it will be a tutu. I'm not going in. No, I see when your new technology in Team Crawford, I'm in your channel for me before. No, my message is I send no more catacata, so one else one in Yagana. And you see, I give an answer. What Lances say? A dear Bonnie Ben, my men are Lances. Mammy Bonnie Ben, or why, our Lances. I know you're near banning Yagano.
Okay.
Ubi or yeah, Juma Sabi, a Casa and a Casa, a Newman Kuya, a CN and a Casa.
Okay.
Now I say, or ye galamsi, or ye galamsi biaho.
So you heard the chief of Salman in the Elembele district of the Western region, Nana Kwame Bentum II, speaking there earlier to my colleague Sami Wiafe on Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM, registering strong opposition to the decision by the government to revoke the leases, the mining leases of Adamus Resources Limited. Let's still stay on this matter because in a related development, concerned youth of Nzema are calling for a constructive dialogue to address the situation. In a statement, the youth say, and I quote, "We wish to strongly condemn the notice calling for an emergency general meeting purportedly to express gratitude to the President and the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources over the revocation of the Adamus mining license. This move is premature, misplaced, and does not reflect the concerns and priorities of the wider community. At a time when many stakeholders are still seeking clarity on the implications of the revocation, particularly regarding livelihoods, employment, and the local economy, it is inappropriate to organize a meeting focused solely on praise. Furthermore, the process leading to this notice appears to lack broad consultation. A matter of such importance requires inclusive dialogue, not a hurried gathering that may be perceived as endorsing a one-sided narrative." And they continue to say that we believe that any engagement at this stage should prioritize transparent communication on the reasons and consequences of the revocation, constructive discussions on the future of affected workers and communities, inclusive participation of all stakeholders rather than selective representation. Also, the potential negative impact of such actions on unity, transparency, and informed decision-making. And they sign off by saying that until these concerns are properly addressed, we consider this meeting unnecessary and potentially divisive. And it's signed by President of the Nzema Youth Association, Jonas Kabute. Well, let's move away from this matter and take you to the Ashanti region, where the Ashanti South Regional Police Command has shot and killed 2 suspected highway robbers, while a police officer sustained injuries during a fierce gun battle in an intelligence-led operation to retrieve a cache of buried weapons. Ashanti Regional Correspondent Doris Lonta has more in the following report.
Police say the operation was triggered by intelligence that a key suspect, Sumaila Munkaila, also known as Guda, was hiding at Vitin in Tamale, in the northern region. The 37-year-old was arrested on 25th April. During interrogation, he is said to have confessed to involvement in several robberies, including recent roadblock robberies along the Wipe-Tamale Highway. He later named 4 alleged accomplices and led police to Savligu, where another suspect, Umaru Musa, was arrested the same night. According to the Ashanti South Regional Police Commander, the 2 suspects then guided officers to a bush at Yezisi, near Fumbisi in the Upper East region, where the group had buried weapons after their last operation.
During the search, unknown persons opened fire from within the bush, and the suspects attempted to escape. The police team returned fire, and in the ensuing exchange, both suspects, Sumaila Munkaila and Umar Musa, sustained gunshot injuries. They were conveyed to the Tamale Government Hospital, where they were pronounced dead on arrival by the medical officer. One police officer also sustained some injuries during the exchange and is currently receiving medical treatment.
The Ashanti South Regional Commander said investigations are continuing, with efforts underway to arrest 3 other suspects.
Investigations continue and intensive efforts are underway to arrest the remaining accomplices identified as Tungude, Sumala, and Bera.
He commended officers involved in the operation for their professionalism and reaffirmed the command's commitment to tackling violent crime and ensuring safety on the country's highways.
The command also wishes to commend the bravery and professionalism displayed by the officers who took part in this operation under difficult and dangerous circumstances.
Moving on, the minority in Parliament has attributed the recent power outages to what it describes as the Mahama administration's neglect of the energy sector recovery program introduced by the Akufo-Addo government to address financial and operational challenges in the sector. Now, according to the minority, the erratic power supply predates the recent inferno at the Akosombo substation. Channel 1 News' Nia Ikweokai reports.
The Minority Caucus on Tuesday addressed journalists on the recent power outages being experienced in parts of the country which have been attributed to the Akosombo Inferno and transformer upgrades by the government. The minority in its address asserted that the situation is as a result of the Mahama government's neglect of the energy sector recovery program introduced by the Akufo-Addo government that was meant to tackle the financial and operational challenges in the energy sector.
The doom that millions of Ghanaians have been enduring since January 2025 was not caused by any accident at Akosombo. And the NPP minority will not allow this government to shelter its own incompetence behind the narrative of a single incident. We say to the president directly, the darkness Ghanaians are experiencing is not the product of 23rd April 2026. It is a product of 14 months of policy failure, institutional neglects, and the deliberate abandonment of the energy sector recovery framework that the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia administration put in place to prevent exactly this kind of collapse.
The group also disclosed that the government is indebted to independent power producers to the tune of over $500 million and also $200 million to fuel suppliers for power generation.
The data available to us is that government owes IPPs over $500 million and over $200 million to companies that supplied fuel for power generation. We call on the government to come clear on the financial situation in the sector, particularly after the imposition of the Dumso levy. If the levy has been collected but not properly applied, Ghanaians have the right to know. If it has been misappropriated, those responsible must be held accountable.
The Minority Caucus, as part of its series of demands, wants the Energy Minister to appear before Parliament when the House reconvenes from recess to apprise lawmakers on plans being rolled out to end the power situation.
The government must immediately cease describing a nationwide power crisis as a planned maintenance program or a series of routine transformer upgrades. Ghanaians are not fooled. The lights are out because this government failed to implement the recovery plan it inherited, not because of engineering schedules. Implement the ESRP without further delay. The Minister of Energy must appear before the full House and brief members on the current state of Ghana's generation and transmission capacity, the financial obligations outstanding to IPPs, the status of the ESRP, and this government's credible, costed, and time-bound plan to end doomsday. An investigation of Gridco CEO or ECG's Ashanti leadership must follow transparent due process. Findings must be evidence-based. If culpability is established, the law must take its course. If it is not, those officials must be fully and publicly exonerated. This government must not sacrifice public servants on the altar of political optics, while its own ministers escape accountability.
Well, the Minority Caucus has disclosed that it will be compelled to file a right to information request on the use of the 1 Ghana cedi fuel levy introduced by the government if the doomsday situation persists. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Parliament, I am Ni Ayukweyi Okai.
Well, this is the Channel 1 Newsroom here on Channel 1 TV. Still to come. Ghana's final IMF review meeting to commence on Wednesday, April 29. Can you stay with us? We have the details coming up shortly.
The best part of going home is family.
Sit up! Hey, mommy, my wife is cooking something delicious. Well, hot pepper sauce, spicy. Lizzie Shito, the Shito. C'est totally Lizzie Shito over
Lizzie Shito, please, can I take some to school tomorrow?
Yes, my son, you can. Lizzie Shito, dear. Ebesu obiasu.
Lizzie Shito hot pepper sauce. Yes, spicy and
Lizzie Shito hot pepper sauce. Spicy.
For bulk purchase, kindly contact 050-168-3344 or 050-155-0998. This advert is FDA approved.
Launching BSc Development Economics at the Ghana Christian University College. Study a job-ready university program, BSc Development Economics at the Ghana Christian University College. Job is ready for graduates who possess degrees and certificates in BSc Development Economics, professional certificate in Theoeconomy, certificate in Theoeconomy with business. Enroll at the Department of Theology and Economics at the Ghana Christian University College, Amrahia, Adenta Dodua Road, Accra. Full bursary is available for BSc Development Economics graduates to study master's program at a state university in South Africa. Enroll now. Take advantage of this opportunity to join elite professionals in economics. Call 0557-351-090 or 0575-633-307 or 030-296-0542. WhatsApp us on 0557-351-090 or you can get in touch online on www.theoeconomy.edu.gh. Powered by the Center for Theology and Economics, CTEC.
Welcome back. Next, there's Channel One Business with Netili Neti Ajaho.
CNR Business is brought to you by EcoBank.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account. 100,100,100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
Oh, hello, Netele. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, Nana.
What's the latest in the world of business?
Let's get straight to it. And average market prices for protein items across Accra remain largely stable, but fresh produce is showing signs of price volatility, increasing pressure on household food spending. This according to the latest Channel One TV Market Price Barometer, a monthly initiative by the Channel One Business News team, which tracks the cost of selected commodities across major markets in the capital. The report shows that while protein prices remain anchored, fluctuations in fresh produce are emerging as a key concern for consumers. So that was data compiled by the Channel One TV Research Desk under the Channel One TV Market Price Barometer, tracking the pulse of prices in Accra. And I'm joined in studio by Nee Latte of the Channel One TV Research Desk. Hello, Nee. You're welcome.
Hi, Natalie. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay. So now the Channel One TV Market Price Barometer enters day 2. Can you give us a reminder of what the core objectives are and why we are doing this initiative?
Indeed, yesterday we began with the household staples and we talked about cassava, rice, plantain, tomatoes, and what have you. Today we've seen the protein and fresh produce basket, and what we are basically doing is to ensure that we are able to track market prices commodity by commodity, at least on a month-on-month basis, and this is going to serve several purposes. First, it gives us a sense of the price movement or fluctuations on a monthly basis, and this is also going to feed into or give you a signal of what the inflation outlook or dynamic is going to look like in the month in question. All of these helping consumers, traders, and even policymakers to make that informed choice, at least at the market level. Over time, we are also expecting that the data we generate will become some form of reference, which is why we have the 4 market indexes. So we have the household staples that we talked about yesterday, today the protein, fresh produce. In subsequent episodes, we are likely to talk about the energy and transport index as well as the construction and SME index. So this is where we are as a research team, as a business team, as a station.
Okay, so based on what we had yesterday, that was the household staple index. Today we are looking at the protein and fresh produce index. Can you walk us through the trends?
Indeed, so we have 9 items in this particular basket that we talk about. So if you look at the protein and fresh produce basket, you have your fresh tilapia, you have your beef, you have your goat, you have your live chicken, you also have your garden eggs, talking about the fresh produce aspect of it, the cabbage, the carrot, the green pepper, and oranges. Yesterday, when we looked at the household staples, we realized that cassava and tomatoes, two of the key commodities with high prices. But when it comes to this particular element, you realize that for the protein bit, because of the constant supply of some of these items, talking about the fresh tilapia, the meat, prices were relatively stable per the data we gathered. There was some form of elevated prices when it came to the fresh produce because of several factors. So you realize that for fresh tilapia, talk of an average 4 pieces was sold for 100 Ghana cedis, beef 80 Ghana cedis per kilogram, goat meat 95 Ghana cedis per kilogram. For the live chicken foreign, you have it around 181 Ghana cedi. When it came to the local, it was being sold for at around 150 Ghana cedis. Okay. Garden eggs, interestingly, for the 4.5 liters bucket, almost 100 Ghana cedis, so 98 Ghana cedis, 25 pesos in there. Cabbage, 20 Ghana cedis per an average size. Carrot, 4 average size prices or pieces for 20 Ghana cedis. Green pepper, 5 average size pieces, 10 Ghana cedis. Oranges, 2 Ghana cedis. If you are lucky, you get 3 pieces for 5 Ghana cedis.
Wow, that's interesting
Indeed.
to note. But are there primary drivers that are influencing price determination across these categories?
Well, Letele, if you look at market price determination, a lot of factors come to play. We can talk of the demand and supply bit of it. You know, when items are in season, which is the seasonality or supply side, you realize that when they are in season, prices are a bit moderate. But when they are out of season, that is where you see a lot of, you know, cost in there, which is on the high side. And this we saw for the data for garden eggs. What we gathered was that garden eggs, as we speak, is out of season, which is why we saw the 4.5 liters bucket being sold for almost 100 Ghana cedi across some of the markets that we surveyed during this period. Okay. And so if you look at the factors you're also talking about, the energy and transport cost transmission, which is a key component of what we'll be looking at in subsequent, you know, episode of this particular market price barometer. We are already seeing some of these feeding into the prices of the fresh produce element. Okay. And so market traders are saying that the cost of carrying some of these fresh produce from the farm to the marketplace is one of the contributing factors to the high prices you are seeing when it comes to, you know, the fresh produce. And these elements, fresh as they are, perishable as they are, you would expect that storage and time will also play a key factor in how they are priced. So we expect that you make that informed decision when you go to the market, given some of the data we've provided under the Channel 1 TV Market Price Barometer survey. So this and many more others we expect in subsequent bulletins.
Yeah, we'll be looking ahead for that one, and I hope it will be an interesting.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Neti.
Okay, so now we go straight to our other stories. And Ghana's engagement with the International Monetary Fund is entering its final phase, with government expressing confidence that the country is on track to successfully complete its ongoing program and exit on schedule after sustained policy implementation. This report has more details.
A staff mission from the International Monetary Fund is expected in Accra this week for the 6th and final review under Ghana's 3-year extended credits facility arrangement, ahead of a planned conclusion of the program in August 2026, following a technical extension. The mission will assess recent macroeconomic performance, including fiscal consolidation, inflation trends, debt management, and structural reforms, while engaging key stakeholders across government, the central bank, and civil society. Speaking to Channel 1 Business News, technical advisor at the Ministry of Finance and an economist, Dr. Teo Echampon, says the outlook remains broadly positive, with Ghana having largely met program commitments.
The government has already communicated that the program is being extended technically by 3 months until August. So what the fund is doing is basically coming in to take stock of data around government financing, growth, debt, inflation. They will talk to a number of stakeholders. Typically, they will talk to people at the Ministry of Finance. They will talk to Bank of Ghana. They will then also talk to other communities. So, for example, civil society and all that, just to gauge and understand where things stand. and then what they need to do going forward. But what is very clear from the Fitch review and even all the other reviews that we've done is that we have met most of those program targets, and nothing shows so far that we're not going to meet those targets that have been set in the program. So what I mean again is that if you look at the structural benchmarks, the quantitative targets, some of the tax reforms and all of those things that need to be done, that's all largely been accomplished. So we are looking forward to a very positive outcome.
Now, fuel price floors for petrol and diesel have been marginally reduced effective the first pricing window of May. This reflects a slight easing in Ghana's downstream petroleum market amid the ongoing Middle East tensions. There's more in the following report.
At the minimum level, petrol will sell at 13 cedis 25 pesos per litre, down marginally from 13 cedis 27 pesos per litre recorded in the second pricing window of April, representing a 2 pesos decline. Diesel, however, records a sharper adjustment, with the price floor dropping to 14 cedis 30 pesos per litre from 16 cedis 10 pesos per litre in the previous window, marking a significant 1 cedi 80 pesos reduction. In contrast, the price floor for LPG has risen sharply to a little above 13 cedis per kilogram, up from 10 cedis 79 pesos per kilogram, reflecting an increase of 2 cedis 23 pesos over the period. The reduction in petrol and diesel price floors follows a temporary government intervention that absorbed 2 cedis on diesel and 36 pesos on petrol, introduced at the start of the second pricing window of April to cushion consumers against rising fuel prices driven by geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. Prices of refined petroleum products on the international market have also seen marginal reductions. The National Petroleum Authority maintains that all oil marketing companies and LPG marketing companies are required to comply with the stipulated price floors in line with the petroleum products pricing guidelines. The regulator explains that the announced price floors do not include premiums charged by international oil trading companies, the operating margins of bulk import, distribution and export companies, as well as marketers and dealers' margins. These components are determined independently by industry players under the pricing guidelines framework.
Let's now bring you an update on crude oil prices and how the local currency is performing on the interbank market. And that's all for business. I am Netele Netiajao. Back to you, Nana.
Always grateful to you, Natalie. Thank you so much. Well, let's bring you some more stories. And the local government ministry has issued a one-week ultimatum to metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives to remove all unauthorized billboards across the Greater Accra region. Deputy Minister Rita Odole-Sowa made the announcement during an inspection tour where she raised concern over the threats posed by the proliferation of unregulated advertising to the safety of citizens and landscape of the city. Channel 1 News' Rachel Engman reports.
Deputy Minister Rita Odole-Sowa issued the directive during an inspection tour on Tuesday by the Technical Committee on the Regularization and Sanitation of Billboards and Signages across the Ayawasu West, Ayawasu East and Ladade Kotopon municipal assemblies, describing the situation as unacceptable and harmful to Accra's image. The Ladade Kotopon municipality, however, showed notable progress where some unregulated billboards had been removed to allow visibility and improve the aesthetics.
The place is so cluttered and it does not speak well of us as a nation, as a ministry, as districts. And so we've engaged the MMDCs and they've assured us that they are going to declutter the entire space. Because when you come to this particular area, it's between Ladade Kotopon and Ayawaso West. And our officers are here, the planning officers are here. And so I believe the planning officers are also seeing what we are seeing. And I want to say a big thank you to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who has mandated us to look at this space. We'll come back in a week, especially to the areas that we visited. And then from there we'll do the Dansoman areas as we saw in the pictures.
Some MMDCs warned advertisers to comply with regulations or face sanctions.
Since the beginning of this year, we've had directive not to give permit for billboards. The idea is to sanitize the system. So as a result of that, we've not granted permit for billboard to be mounted. And as you can see, a number of them do not have permit. So we have decided to cut them down or to remove them. So sometimes you get up, the next morning, the billboards are erected, and we are engaging them to stop this so that we can sanitize the system.
It's quite capital intensive because the cranes have to be used, have to be taken from our IGF, which we didn't budget for. So we have to now find ways of agreeing together with all the stakeholders to come and remove them.
The Advertising Association of Ghana has backed the exercise, describing it as long overdue.
For us at AAG, we support fully what the minister is doing. It is long overdue, actually. We have been looking for that kind of political will for any government to be able to take the bull by the horn, to sanitize the environment. I mean, our sky space is a mess. Unfortunately, this is an industry of survival and livelihood for many people. So it is not just our members who are into this business, but there are others that have entered into the fray that are not being regulated or are not involved in self-regulation. And so we want this to be done, demolition should be done, so that we sanitize the environment, and then there will be proper regulation.
The technical committee set up by the Ministry of Local Government to regularize and sanitize billboards is urging the public to comply with proper procedures and avoid practices that cause obstruction. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I am Rachel Engman.
Now, the Ministry of Works and Housing says it will take action against developers who are illegally reclaiming wetlands and constructing buildings on them. According to the Sector Minister, Kenneth Gilbert Ajay, such activities are undermining the government's efforts to address flooding whenever there is heavy rainfall. There is more in the following report filed by Channel 1 News' Philip Nilati.
As part of measures to curb flooding in a major part of Accra, President John Dramani Mahama in April 2025 ordered the restoration of a Ramsar site and water retention basin at Malam Junction after visiting the area. The site, which lies beneath the Malam Junction interchange, had been largely filled with gravels and converted into a plain field in preparation for development by a private firm, Kitech Motors. Following the directive, the Ministry of Works and Housing ensured that the private firm complied with the order.
His Excellency the President directed the company to actually remove the sand that they've used to fill the waterway and do the right thing. And the company got in touch with the ministry. The company is Kitech, to assist them in getting the place dredged and for the right thing to be done. So when they came in, we also referred them to Ghana Hydrological Authority. And the engineers of Hydro decided to work with Kitech. And this is what we've seen. Those sand that was used to fill this place have been moved. And the channel has also been dredged well and it's been expanded up to where we have the main road.
The minister cautioned developers against reclaiming Ramsar sites and wetlands.
The rains is about to start. We won't allow what they are doing to bring flooding to the good people of Accra. So we will come after them. And they are going to be penalized. And I also want to advise our local authorities, those that are giving the necessary permits to people for them to be doing putting these kind of pillars and putting up these structures, that we are going to fish them out.
Mr. Ajay later inspected progress on the Kaneshi Drain Channel, which spans from Accra Academy to First Light, as well as another project at ICGC Christ Temple under the Garrett project.
The Ministry of Works and Housing has given a strong indication that it will come after developers who fill waterways and put up structures. The ministry believes that this will curb the flooding situation within the city whenever there is a downpour. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I am Philip Ni Latte.
You're watching the Channel 1 Newsroom. Still to come. Black Queens of Ghana set to begin qualification campaign for 2028 Olympic Games in the USA. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the details of that story.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson,
Me didn't tum. Mr. Femi Kakalika, just call me cockroach.
Now, Mr. Femi once now.
Hey, is that you? Impruka. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the action. Maybe this Sasso spray. Mr. Femi Sasso quell. Yeah, go to my Sasso.
Sasso, come tum preko.
Turn up your sound experience with the We Hear speakers by Lovi. From the sleek We Hear 1 to the powerful We Hear 2. And now the premium We Hear Pro. Fully endorsed by Kylian Mbappe. This is not just a speaker, it's a flexible, high-performance outdoor Bluetooth speaker built to bring your music to life anywhere. With up to 100 watts of music power, you get bold, immersive sound wherever you go. All available in stylish standout colors. Now the good news. From April 20th to May 20th, grab yours at a special discounted price. The We Hear 1 now at 400 Ghana cedis. The We Hear 2 at 900 Ghana cedis. And the premium We Hear Pro now at 3,800 Ghana cedis. Don't miss out. Call 020-195-7739 or pick up at the Atlantic Towers. You can also grab yours at Orange FM Kumasi, Plus FM or 3 Music TV in Accra. Number 12 Afunya Street at Belengpe. Don't miss out on this special discounted offer. It's the We Hear promo powered by Lovi. We Hear, feel the power, hear the difference.
Welcome back. Next, we have Channel 1 Sports with Bernard Abekochiri. Hi, Bernard.
Hi, boss.
It's good to see you.
Great to see you too.
Exciting times for women's football in the country.
Yeah. Exciting times. You know, we have to be there and make a mark. I mean, Las Bielgreen has gotten the team in shape, in a winning mood. So I feel this is the best time to showcase that to the world.
Give us the details.
Let's get into it, shall we now? A new chapter in Ghana's women's football begins this Wednesday as the Black Queens lend their roots to the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. With the first appearance in over 2 decades in sight, the stakes are high and the mission is clear. We have more in this report by Channel 1 sports journalist Julio Ashrifi Amwa.
The Confederation of African Football is set to hold a draw for the Women's African qualifiers for the 2028 Summer Olympics. 35 African nations will enter the race, but only 2 will secure places at the Los Angeles Games in 2028. The qualification process is a 5-round knockout campaign that will test depth, quality, and consistency. But Ghana heads into this challenge with renewed belief. The Black Queens are currently ranked 59th in the latest FIFA rankings, making them the third highest ranked national team in Africa, behind only Nigeria and South Africa. For many supporters, this signals the re-emergence of a sleeping giant. The Black Queens were trailblazers long before the rise of the Black Stars. In 1999, Ghana became the first senior national team in the country's history, male or female, to qualify for a FIFA Women's World Cup. At that tournament in the United States, Ghana earned its first ever World Cup point in a draw against Australia, with Nana Majamfoa scoring the country's first goal at a Women's World Cup. Years later came more iconic moments. Alberta Saki's strike at the 2003 tournament was nominated among the greatest goals in Women's World Cup history, while Adrabayo's memorable free kick against Norway in 2007 remains one of Ghana's standout moments on the global stage. However, despite 3 World Cup appearances, the Black Queens have not returned to the Olympics since 2004. Now, with women's football growing rapidly worldwide, Ghana hopes this generation can restore the nation's place among the elite. So whether the draw produces a regional rival or an African heavyweight, one thing is certain: the road to Los Angeles begins in Cairo. 35 nations, 5 rounds, only 2 tickets.
Let's zoom in into the night of drama, the UEFA Champions League now, and Arsenal face Atletico Madrid in the first leg of the UEFA Champions League semi-final on Wednesday night as the Gunners chase a possible double this season. The Gunners have